Hey everyone, if you followed my old channel, you just might remember my video on Alien Isolation. It's the game's 10th anniversary, and since I've changed my overall opinion of the game, I thought I'd go over it again. Alright, first off, let's do a little review. Alien Isolation was released in 2014 by Sega, and it takes place 15 years after the end of the first Alien movie from 1979. The game focuses on Amanda Ripley and her search for her lost mother, Ellen Ripley. It's a stealth survival horror game that relies on quick thinking and finding things that you can scavenge. It was very well received upon release and won Game of the Year in 2014, and it's still mostly well regarded today. Okay, here we go. As I began replaying the game, my nostalgia blinders came off real fast when I was reminded of just how old the game is by the first hour, which, by the way, I didn't see a single xenomorph in. The intro was a little drawn out, sure, but that's forgivable, and I feel like it mirrors the movie in that way. The game starts with Amanda being asked to join a small group to collect the flight recorder recovered from the Nostromo, the ship from the first movie. Amanda reluctantly joins the crew on board an M-class freighter, which is conveniently a very similar model to the Nostromo. After several cutscenes and exposition drops, Amanda and the crew are ready to board Sevastopol Station, a large trade hub that the flight recorder of the Nostromo had been delivered to. You can probably guess how it goes from there. Amanda and gang get stranded by a freak accident after they get there. The station is already damaged and she has to survive a monster that has been picking people off on the ship. So originally I had complained that the game was repetitive and unnecessarily long. I can understand where I was coming from with how large each location is and the amount of times you revisit the same places, but I noticed on this playthrough that because it was so full of items, and I wasn't determined to get everything, I found myself able to easily restock, whereas last time, the only thing I had were the things that I had left, and I was unable to find anything else. The game is long, I won't argue with that, but if you pay attention and you explore the lore in the terminals as you go, it adds a lot of depth to the story that I had previously missed, and in turn, makes it not feel nearly as long. That being said, I didn't record the whole game this time because it's just too much footage and is a lot of hide after mission 4 that can get repetitive if you let it. Making use of the tools you have is really important for actually enjoying this game. Don't hoard them all just in case you need them. If you are being constantly trailed, you need them. When I started using the different tools, it really changed the relationship between me and the alien. In my old review, I stated that the alien is scary at first and then becomes more annoying than scary. And I do have to agree with myself there. I died 5+ times in the same location just because I couldn't get away from it in tight corridors and long open hallways with nothing to hide behind. I got to where I started to get impatient because it just felt unfair, but I also didn't remember to use my tools as I should have, so I could have potentially gotten out of there quicker if I hadn't gotten frustrated. There were also several times when either the game had pity on me or the AI pathing was just not good enough to detect me basically standing next to it, so that actually added to the stress of not being detected, but I'm not sure it was in a good way. You're given a decent amount of weapons, and I have to at least somewhat agree with myself when I said there's literally no point in using them because the alien will immediately hone in on you. Playing through it again, I was able to remember which parts of the game the xenomorph isn't directly after you, and I was able to freely use the pistol then, but that requires foreknowledge of when it's able to actually come after you and when it can't. I literally do not know when the shotgun would be useful. I've played through the whole game and I never used it. However, the stun baton is incredibly useful for escaping the androids, working Joes, and the flamethrower is the only way to halt the xenomorph from killing you, if just for a second. The problem is how late you get the flamethrower. For example, I could have really used that in the hospital section where I needed to get a key card in circular rooms that are really open. I had a really difficult time navigating that area because the xenomorph is constantly patrolling the tight circular hallways. Hard mode is the recommended mode to play through according to the starting screen, and in that mode, after mission 4, you really can't sprint or fire a weapon without the xenomorph saying hello. I do have to say I utilized sprinting a little bit more than I normally would have as I played, and my fear of the xenomorph slowly went away, and like I originally said, it became more of an annoyance. There's a fine balance between terrifying and annoying, and I think they just missed that mark. One-hit kills are just not fun no matter what it is. I think Metroid Dread really did that how it should be. The enemies give you a terrifying chase that you almost always very narrowly escape from, and if you're caught, you have 2 random chances to escape. It's exhilarating and satisfying when you escape, but with Alien, you can escape and hide, and there's a chance the Xenomorph will still find you no matter what you do. They designed it where it learns from how you play, so if you hide at a bunch of lockers, it can still find you after a while. There's a very small chance the Xenomorph will run over you and leave the area for a second, but that literally only happened once in the many times that I died. Sometimes though, the Xenomorph will kill other people that you would otherwise have to avoid or fight, and that is actually kind of helpful, morbidly enough. I seriously dissed the motion detector originally, and said that it made the game a lot less scary when you can just check and see if it's still there. And that's true, and also not true at the same time. The frustration of the one-hit kills paired with not knowing where it's at is already maddening enough before you get the motion detector, but I realize that even with the motion detector, it's still really hard to tell where the Xenomorph is, and the game is basically impossible without it in hard mode. For some reason, I also didn't realize that the motion detector points you to your objective with the line around the border of the screen, and that's why I originally got lost so often. The extra modes are alright. I've noticed some bugs in them, and the survivor mode is basically just Ethan must die mode from Resident Evil 7 and is incredibly difficult, but maybe that's just me. All of this is not to say that there's no positive to this game. The story kept me on the edge of my seat, and it was thrilling and amazing even with the filler. I won't spoil it, but the finale left me with the same feeling as the end of the first movie, and that is a very good thing. The sound design is absolutely incredible. You can hear exactly where the Xenomorph is, what it's doing, and judge what it's going to do based on that. The graphics still hold up fairly well. You can tell it's 10 years old, but most of the time it's not at the forefront of your mind with how detailed the sets are. The reflections and materials of the objects are absolutely beautiful, and to me feel like they're ahead of other games from the same time. It's always fun to look through the windows at the curvature of the planet and the endless space around you. Atmosphere is something that is done very well here, and the lighting is so beautiful that it's cinematic. Occasionally the NPCs will move a little bit weird, and I had one cutscene's dialogue repeat for no reason, but that's all I noticed bug-wise, and I think that's just age. The lore is almost consistently interesting to learn, and it doesn't interrupt the gameplay. There's plenty of fun collectibles like ID tags that you can find that uncover more lore and give characterization to other survivors on board the station, and there's smaller twists even amongst the characters you encounter. The world feels alive even despite everything falling apart around you, and there's little references here and there scattered all throughout the game to give you that hit of nostalgia. In my old review, I gave the game a 6 out of 10, and I think that was a mistake, because even with its problems, the game is thrilling and fun almost the entire time. If it's too hard, you've got difficulty settings that can make it manageable for you and still be a fun experience. I would say if you like the Alien series, go ahead and give this game a go, because it goes on sale for like $5 all the time on Steam, and you might end up just really liking it. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you want to support me, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. If you don't want to support me, hit the dislike button and leave a very angry comment like it still doesn't help my algorithm. And as a great man once said, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.